The IPL is here. It's time to preview match number one. Mumbai Indians, Royal Challengers, Bangalore. This is ESPNcricinfo T20 Timeout powered by Intel. I'm Ronak Kapoor. Dan Vettori and Sanjay Manjrekar are all set to join. Right, it's a new year, it's a new IPL, but it's the same style of previewing that we'll do, gentlemen. 5 statements coming your way. The first one being Mumbai should use Ishan Kishan as an opener if Quinton de Kock is unavailable. Sanjay?
I like Chris Lynn opening, considering that, CSK is not playing in Chennai, so it's not likely to be a turner. So, why not open with Lynn? Because then Ishan Kishan comes down at the number that he was sensational at last season, and the batting order just looks that much more, strong and deep.
Now they have Chris Lynn, Dan, but if Ishan Kishan wants to take that opening spot that he so enjoys, there could be a chance to play a different sort of overseas combination. Maybe try Jimmy Neesham. Would you be tempted to go that way?
I think I would look at Chris Lynn at the top of the order, because I think it will stifle RCB's plans. They want to bowl Washington Sundar up the top against Ishan Kishan. So I think Lynn, he's been champion of the bit for over a year. I don't think he played a game last year. So I like his aggressive style. I know he'll come into first game of the tournament and try and take it on. And if Chepauk doesn't turn, then that'll suit him even more.
Let's talk about one call that Mumbai had to make. It was the call that they had to make, probably the only selection call they had to make all of last season. Who that extra overseas seamer is going to be? Sanjay, would you start with Nathan Coulter-Nile or Adam Milne?
If Coulter-Nile is fit, he walks in. Because he was playing the business end of the IPL last season. So he walks in. If not, Adam Milne is how I would go. And that is how Mumbai Indians also tend to go. It's one of those teams that go for specialists, fast bowlers. We saw with Pattinson as well. They've gone for McClenaghan over the years. So Jimmy Neesham, not quite that kind of player. So I would think they would go with Adam Milne if Coulter-Nile is not available.
They offer different things, though, don't they, Dan? You have Coulter-Nile, who is a different sort of fast bowler who can bat. And you know what Adam Milne's all about. Which sort of bowler would you want to start the season with?
Well, I think the starting point is that neither of them can play 14 games. They've both got track records of injury. And I think Mumbai will purely look at them as 7-game players, and they'll mix and match. I think Sanjay's right in saying Coulter-Nile was such a star performer at the business end of last year's IPL that he'll get the first opportunity, but look to these guys being even Trent Bolt. They may look at the 3 of them as a combination, and 2 out of 3 will play every game, knowing that 14 games and knowing Mumbai, it's 15, 16, 17 games this season because they're inevitably in the finals. So I think they'll look at it from that perspective.
All right. What about Bangalore and them possibly using one of their Indian all-rounders a little more? Washington Sundar comes off a terrific season for India. Dan, would you want to use Sundar, the batsman, more if you were RCB this season?
Absolutely. I think Washington Sundar, the player that came to RCB 2 or 3 years ago, is obviously a different player, particularly around batting. I mean, those innings that he played for India will give him so much confidence, and they were innings in trying conditions, and he played a different style as required. And I think in T20s, he can elevate his game to being aggressive. So maybe not at the start of the tournament, depending on the health, I think, of Padukal. That will make a big difference whether Washington can come into that opening spot.
Sanjay, if they want to use Washington, the batsman, more, how can they? You've got Kohli, Padukal, you've got AB de Villiers, Maxwell. If you want to cash in on that form, how do you?
See, let's not forget his batting form was more in test matches. So let's not try and, get too carried away. He had some good, form in white ball and T20 cricket as well. But, it was more in test matches that he made an impact with the bat. I'd like to see Dan Christian bat before Washington Sundar. And maybe this season you might see RCB start using him more as a batting all-rounder rather than a bowling all-rounder that he's been over the years.
All right. And finally, Mumbai Indians now have 2 wrist spinners. It's not something they've had in the last few seasons. They've got the experience of Piyush Chawla, who's played a lot at the Chepauk. They also have Rahul Chahar, who's now been capped in T20I cricket. Which one gets the nod, or is there a case for both to play? Sanjay?
See, I think the only one player that is slightly dispensable in this, champion Mumbai Indians side is Krunal Pandya. And people will be thinking, what is this guy saying? Because he had a pretty good one game in the T20 series where he made quite an impact with the bat. But because there's so much batting wealth in Mumbai Indians playing 11, do you need Krunal Pandya, the batting all-rounder? Or would you try and address that slight vulnerability that everyone talks about with regards to spin? Then you have somebody like Rahul Chahar and Piyush Chawla as your two wrist spinners. But that may happen later in the season. But if it happens, then you're plugging all the possible holes of Mumbai Indians as a playing 11, because then the spin department also looks better, because Piyush Chawla and Krunal Pandya, purely on comparison of spin bowling, I mean, Piyush Chawla clearly way ahead.
Dan?
Well, I think Krunal Pandya will play primarily just to bowl against Xavier de Villiers. I think they will line him up as soon as he comes in, because he's been successful against them. So I can't see Chawla forcing his way into that lineup. Mumbai have stuck with the tried and tested 11 around those multiple all-rounders, Pollard and the Pandya brothers, and then backing up with their fast bowlers and Chahar. So I don't see that changing. I think Chawla is simply there as a replacement for Chahar if things don't go well for him.
All right, Dan Vettori, Sanjay Manjrekar, thank you very much. Let the action begin then. This was our preview to match 1, Bangalore against Mumbai on ESPNcricinfo T20 Timeout, powered by Intel.